What is up, everyone? Welcome to the sixth episode of the MFT Pod. Your host is Flemex. Your company's The TakeOn. How's it going? I mean, just a little brief explanation. We are recording a little late because today's Saturday. We were supposed to go out, but The TakeOn decided to take so long to get ready because we were supposed to meet at the gym and then go out, but obviously he took a minute to get there. I want to hear your guys' opinion. I got to the gym at 7:20. Started already working out. He called me at 7:40 saying, "Oh, I'm gonna change. I'm home and I'll be there." Would you guys have stayed? Cause I left the gym at 9 cause I didn't hear from him at all. Care to explain yourself?
I was at the gym by 8:40.
All of a sudden, 8:40. Guys, I was there at 8:40 doing my cardio and he literally was not there. I did not see him.
I arrived to the gym and I saw your car there, and then I ran into a high school buddy. Had a few minutes to catch up. Then I got into ellipticals and I realized you weren't there.
So unfortunately we haven't hanged down in a minute. But we do hope to finally get a day where we hang out. But we're here to talk about wrestling. So let's talk about some news.
What's new, Fleming?
Triplemania. Triplemania. Let's talk about it. Because one of the things is that the TakeOn always argues, and he's been telling me that Triplemania was a forbidden door for the WWE, and I genuinely disagree. One of the reasons is because there wasn't anything. It was mostly a AAA show.
Lea su nombre y aparece. Yo creo en Joe Hendry. Prom, prom. I mean, when Aside from the tag match, like when do you ever see an event that involved WWE stars in their show, especially with TNA? Maybe I exaggerated with saying a forbidden door, but you know that direction that the WWE is going at. They're reflecting, they're mirroring. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, definitely I agree that maybe a lot of people will disagree on this, but like we talked about in the previous episode, 100% the WWE is a fanboy of AEW, and seeing the success between AEW and New Japan, and having these, pretty much crossing promotions, I feel like it's something that TKO or whoever is in charge of that just sees that and is like, you know what, we should do that, and I think that's why they joined up forces with obviously TNA. They clearly bought AAA knowing that CMLL is with AEW. So yeah, I do agree with you on that.
This is off topic, but I ran into this one clip on TikTok with Nick Khan coming out and Stephanie McMahon's podcast. And he has said that Triple H is involved in those meetings. So it's like, in a way,
Oh, homie's he's a
he,
fanboy.
he's a fanboy. Nah, but I will say that as easily replaceable as he is to TKO, I'm sure he has been more of an asset than he has been as just a writer, a content creator. Really? What What do you think?
Yeah, no, like I said, 100% that he watches AEW. He could literally deny it or whatever, but 100% he loves AEW. That's just my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong, or people will say, "Oh, he doesn't have time for it." I highly doubt it. If he's literally on Twitter, during live events, 100% that he's watching the show.
This may be another off topic as well. Going back to this one part of an episode we mentioned a while back, and this is when we were talking about some wrestling fans showing that they've never worked in customer service. And I had this one comment on that clip or we had this one comment on this clip where we posted that clip, and their defense was that WWE did not make any vignette packages for Jacob Fatu, Jeff Cobb, Mariah May, Ricky Saints, Ethan Page, etc. And I felt like I had to explain the nuance between those type of debuts because, for one, Jacob Fatu and Jeff Cobb weren't introduced to us as these former champions in other countries. Maybe Jeff Cobb for a bit, but it's like they'll just say, "Oh, like Tama Tonga, he was just uh 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 an unstoppable force in Japan or something." But they never mentioned that they brought him in for a champion. It was mostly for the fact that they were so closely tied to the bloodline that you might as well put them all together and find some way to communicate that story. Um, but yeah, what is your take on it?
I don't know. I kind of caught off. I was talking about Triplemania, but regarding to that post, yeah, like to be honest, I didn't know who Jay White was, even if I was watching AEW for the first time. And hypothetically speaking, because I know you would always bring him up and hype him up to being the next big thing, being the new free agent in the market. But let's just say I didn't know. When he was introduced as an official signing, his pop was pretty terrible. Because I think, if I remember carefully, and correct me if I'm wrong, he just ran, uh, he pretty much just went into the ring. There wasn't any entrance, any music, nothing. It was just him helping somebody. I forgot who it was.
Helping his boy Juice Robinson.
Exactly.
Yeah, that could be
There were,
you and me. That could be you and me, Juice and Jay. Gin and Juice.
but yeah, that's what I'm saying. If I didn't know anything, obviously he wasn't brought it to anything. If I barely started watching the show.
Most people need to also figure out also need to realize not everybody has New Japan. It kind of like in the ways that you clown on me for having Honor Club. Like it's kind of like that. Not everybody's gonna have New Japan World to know what's going on over there. You'd have to have been real deep on the wrestling internet to know what is happening outside WWE because that's where all the hardcores were at, right? So
Yeah.
now AEW's up, which is a birth child of a lot of many different factors, but I still think ROH is that. Anyway, speaking of not that much of a good cheering of a debut, let's continue bouncing back to Triple Mania Regia with Vikingo and the Alberto match.
Crazy, crazy, crazy. So
It,
I was talking to him, talking to the TakeOn about this. Essentially, people were booing of how ridiculous the match was, and we were kind of watching other content creators from Mexico talking about like reviewing their show, and they were not happy. They were just pretty much saying like, in other words, and like this is phony bullshit booking, or in other words, fueron mamadas, or
isn't it crazy
that's
that
how we would
even
say it.
Isn't it crazy
Because,
that even down there they can see the bullshit through? They can even see through the bullshit.
well, I mean, yeah, I mean,
You're
I'm pretty sure
affected.
AAA booking was terrible to begin with. But essentially it sucked. A lot of interference, they even had Latin lover, handcuff Alberto, and the handcuffs didn't even work. So that was kind of ridiculous on their part. But the most interesting is that, Vikingo was booed, and it's pretty much just a form of the fans just being shoved, rejecting,
Rejecting
yeah.
the star that they're shoving down the triple A's.
Well, I don't
Man,
think it's AAA. I think it's WWE that are pushing Vikingo in that promotion to be like their number one star, their face, and obviously the people in Mexico are just like, nah, like we just don't want that person. Even though Alberto Del Rio is a POS, but they were rooting for him, and they really want him.
imagine that.
A- and it's kind of conflicting because if you go to the States over here, they do not want him at all due to his history.
Especially Alberto. I mean, what can we
And and,
say?
and
He's
you
got
were
big for himself.
and you were there at a show with him, and how was the reactions? I mean, they still booed him, but it was because of
So
the heel
Budin,
character, right?
yes, yes. And the thing about it is, one thing I've noticed about the Mexican crowd is that they're able to. It's surprising to know that even down there is nuance to it. They know that there's nuance. There's many layers to a lot of things. When I say layers, I like to bring in this Shrek reference where he says that ogres are like onions, they have layers. The funny part is that they may stink, but they got layers. Anyway, there's nuance. There's nuance in pro wrestling, and unfortunately, there are fans that do get emotional, and it's valid. I'm not saying it's not bad. You're more than free to feel however you want. But the fact of reality is that there's a lot of layers to a lot of things, and the lucha crowd just happens to able to just forget that moment that he's a piece of shit, and they're just they're emotionally invested on the Alberto El Patron character and seeing him lose. But in this scenario with Regia, it was a different. The roles were swapped. Vikingo was getting booed because he's this star that's being shoved down the throats of the lucha crowd,
I
and
have
they're
to cut in.
respecting it.
I have to
But I'm
cut in. I don't know. Yeah, sorry. It That whole main event was literally just reminded me right now of pretty much my favorite phrase. Who booked this crowd?
hey, who said it?
My favorite wrestler, huh?
So what's his name?
I don't know. You tell me.
Man, why are we so afraid to say his name?
Well, I don't know. I forgot his name. Who booked
Who?
this crap? Who booked this crap?
Who?
I don't know, man. You tell me. Anyways, yeah, I just want to jump in because that literally was what that main event was. It was who booked this crap. But going back to your speech, carry along. Sorry.
Where did I leave off with that?
Yeah. There's a lot of layers in it. I guess the Mexican crowd are literally just fans of his wrestling,
Yeah.
and
See, at the end of the day, what it comes down to it is if the wrestler can wrestle or not. If you can wrestle your ass off, then you're gonna put on a good show, and if you can act, even better. You get people to react to his dramatic theater. But on the other hand, when you go to a consejo show, it's a whole different story. It's just in ring action. So Alberto has been a very compelling character in AAA. I wouldn't say I'm one that watches AAA religiously. I would say I keep up. I try to keep up with it because nowadays I've tried to really keep up with lucha. So I've seen that he's been a very compelling character. I know that he does, he does play into the character of what the people believe that he is. He's a bad guy and he's a piece of shit, so he's gonna act like it. Especially the whole little tantrums that he does with the staff there. So Alberto, shit, we don't even know what he's up to nowadays. But
I don't know, man. To me personally, Vikingo's my paisano, so I'm gonna cheer for him. But you know who I wouldn't cheer for? LA Knight.
LA Knight, man, LA Knight. Let's talk about how. Let's rewind back to the episode where you were questioning the logic behind pushing Jey Uso, or as you like to call him, Jimmy. Jimmy's brother.
Who's Jey Uso?
Jimmy's brother.
Ah, okay, got it.
There you go, huh? All of a sudden.
Jimmy's
But
brother.
isn't it to me? It just isn't fair. And you brought up a good point for someone that doesn't like LA Knight, and I stand by the fact that it's true that it's not fair that Jey Uso or Jimmy's brother received this monstrous push temporarily, but it was a monstrous push. Meanwhile, LA Knight, the man who's been carrying this kind of momentum for 20 plus years, and
And he,
he still can't even be rewarded a title shot.
that's,
Let's completely forget the fact that he's not that good in the ring. Okay, we get it. At the end of the day, he is in the Fed. So anybody that goes in the Fed, you have you get a pass in having a mid in ring ethic, but you must know how to talk to the crowd. You must know how to sell. If you can't sell, then you ain't worth shit. You know, if you can wrestle in the WWE, the most you're really ever really gonna get a career there is being a producer. You're producing, you're being hands on how a match on a TV should go. That's, and I say this maybe because of Tyson Kidd. You remember him?
yes.
Yes, that man with that scary neck injury. That man is a producer, and yet he was a very smooth wrestler. I remember it as clear as day.
The
But
problem is,
LA Knight was
sorry,
done so dirty.
the problem is, and this goes back to Triple H's comments during that one post conference. Patience, everyone gets the reward. Even though I'm not a fan of LA Knight, he has been having this big momentum still. People cheering him. His music starts playing and the crowd goes crazy. Um, but like how Jimmy's brother's little phrase of "yeet," yeah, is more compelling to me. Yes, I don't like his wrestling. It kind of sucks. He's pushing 50 almost, but where's that same leniency of he has the crowd, he has the merch sales, he has this, he has that. Where's the push for him? And
Yeah,
clearly it's because that company doesn't value him. And I genuinely feel bad for him because he should get that push. The US title's cool and all, but then he just lost it. And it's to Logan Paul. I think it was Logan Paul and then whatever, right? It just wasn't a good run, personally for me. Um, but yeah, he doesn't get rewarded 2 times Money in the Bank, no Royal Rumble, no nothing. So to me, although I'm not a fan of him, and I clearly am not, but I genuinely do feel bad for him, and I feel like he deserves better.
yeah, let me talk to you. And it seems like there has to be some kind of beef. You must have rubbed somebody off the wrong way backstage. Because all of a sudden now you hear a bunch of old heads talking shit about LA Knight. And I'm afraid that I have to bring these names up because it's just like making fun of their lingos, but I remember not so long ago, and I'll openly admit it that I, I have listened to these old head podcasters that many people don't like to talk about because of their polarizing opinions. But I remember at one point that Conan and Disco Inferno invited LA Knight over, and they were glazing his work and yada yada yada. Dave Meltzer buried TNA because they put LA Knight as their champion and it messed up the image of good matches and yada yada yada. And LA Knight is explaining that yeah, like moves can do so much, but if you can like talk on the mic, then you're gonna sell and you don't gotta like hurt your body as much. So he was talking about it from a logistics and a very strategic standpoint, which if you're into that stuff, then I suggest you look into it.
Oh,
But
100%. Like, why would you want to hurt your body? Like, yeah, like we're human. Like, they're humans. They're not superheroes. They're not Superman where they could take, like, all this pain and then just be good by the next day. No, they're human. So I get his perspective that he wants to take care of his body. And I think we saw that as well when he had his, little gym session with Sheamus. I don't know if you remember that he takes pretty much he really takes care of his himself.
You could tell LA Knight really does take care of himself. I mean, for a man to be able to push this hard up until like his 40s is really crazy, and it really is really sad to see that Jimmy's brother gets all this push out of this really goofy phrase "ye" when yeah, and let me talk to you can be remarkable. Shit, he's the best trash talker. LA Knight can talk his trash. So it's crazy to me, you know. He might have some beef, and man, you
You
know,
know what else I wanted to talk about of rubbing people off? Um, what's the Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton's boyfriend? I
oh
forgot
yes,
it.
we were talking about that the other day. We
Ludwig. Where's homie at? Where's Blood at? Because ever since that happened, boom, like literally catering.
you know who else is missing now? But he's not even in catering anymore.
Who?
Leonardo da Vinci. What's his name?
Oh no,
Leonardo.
they released them.
Yeah, Giovanni da Vinci. There you go.
Yeah, but they released them.
Yeah, that's the sad part, bro. Because that's terrible. You never seen his matches, have you?
No, they were killer. I know he was a hooper, but a lot of
Woo!
damn, that's
Uh-huh.
crazy.
It's
I
sad.
genuinely that Charlotte Flair effect. Ludwig Kaiser, damn.
And just going back to the nepotism treatment, I mean, look at when Jey Uso lost his title, man. Look at how Keish was so pissed off about that, saying that there is no respect to the family. Like, bro, your whole family ran the entire company for like what, 4 years? Like, ain't no way you're really saying that, bro. It's funny. I don't know. It's just funny to me. Like, I don't know. I don't. it would be very very interesting to hear if that was him in character, but it clearly didn't sound like it because it did sound like it hit in the fields. What do
Crazy,
you
crazy,
think?
crazy. Feel bad for that backstage politics and stuff like that. Um, moving on to topic, I think we want to emphasize this episode a little more on AEW personally. Um, to first start off, I want to talk about Ricochet's response to the AEW lawsuit. Because obviously there's there's a lawsuit going on where John Moxley pushed this camera crew and he's milking it, saying that he got fractures and whatnot. So I mean, by all means, get your lick, get the money, get your money over the billionaire. But that's crazy to me.
And what did Ricochet say?
What was the tweet? Let me find it because I think I posted it, but meanwhile, talk about the lawsuit. What's your opinion? Meanwhile, I find the picture.
Oh man, I mean honestly, the way that comes out to me is the man is clearly trying to get money off the billionaire, but at the
He's
end
trying
of
to
the
get his
day,
lick.
when you're a person of in a position that's struggling in the financial department, you're gonna.
Yeah. So AEW and John
Then
Moxley are
again, I'm sorry.
yeah AEW and John Moxley sued for negligence, civil assault, and battery by production crew member.
See now
Christopher
that just sounds like
Dispenza claims he suffered
they're
severe neck and shoulder injuries as a result of being shoved to the ground unexpectedly by John Moxley.
see that just kind of tells me the damn I had it in my head. It just tells me that they were negligent for his injuries. Like maybe he was saying that, hey, I did get injured. They're like, no, you didn't. You seem pretty.
I don't know. To me, homie trying to get his lick. He's
You
trying to
think
get the
so?
bag.
It could be
100%.
both. It could be both. It could be
Yeah,
both. I'm
yeah.
not gonna lie. But again, it could also be negligence because it's not the first time we hear. It's not the first time that we hear that there has been some negligence towards other wrestlers' injuries. So it could be either or. You know, I don't want to give one or the other the benefit of the doubt, but I'm just putting it out there that it could be either or. You know.
To me, obviously, if this wasn't planned, 100%, like, sure, like, homie just got pushed for no reason. That's crazy. But like I said, I'm a big person where it's like, get your leg, get your bag. If you have an opportunity, go for it. But, one of the going back to what Ricochet posted was that he said, we live in a world of pussies. To me, that his heel work or his gimmick in Twitter is funny. But at the same time, like, I don't know, man, PR he's kind of a moron for saying that.
Oh man.
Like,
Honestly,
I love the fact that he rage baits people on Twitter. And I get it, it's his gimmick, right? And people kind of just get offended by it or not. So props to him. But I mean, at the same time, he is kind of a moron for saying stuff like that.
what's your opinion on the whole thing?
Of him, he's a moron. Ricochet is a moron for saying that. Like, I praise his work, his work and his gimmick on Twitter. But saying stuff like that on a lawsuit is crazy. I mean, don't they have PR, like agents, managers, like, hey, is it okay if I post this?
See, that's where what's that guy's name? Alfred Konawa, the guy that runs the pro wrestling bits. Man, that man is getting a lot of hate because he just he just keeps making content that gives people the impression that he's anti AEW. He again called out Tony Khan for not taking authority or not being authoritative for because Ricochet dropped that comment and Ricochet had to delete it right away.
Homie's a moron.
Oh man.
Alright, so let's talk about AEW Grand Slam Mexico. Can I start off by saying that entrance with Místico is amazing. 10 out of 10. S tier. If So a little backstory. So literally during our childhood, we would always hear that song and that music video. And obviously to me, it's my personal favorite when I was a kid. And I barely brought it up, um, like a year. And I posted on like my personal page for my stories and everybody kind of was like, oh, like it's been a long time since I listened to the song and stuff like that. And then obviously Místico had his 20th anniversary in Guadalajara where he played that song. So seeing that on live was pretty great moment for me because I'm a big fan of La Quita Estacion, but obviously they broke up. But yeah, 10 out of 10. That entrance, peak.
Me muero por besarte. That entrance was peak. I kid you not. I kid you not. I was getting goosebumps out of just hearing the whole entire arena singing the entire theme song. And it's
I'm
like,
sorry to cut you off because you mentioned the singing in the crowd and everything. So I'm a big fan of the artist, and I am gonna go to one of her concerts later this year. So I kind of want to see how the crowd is, obviously with wrestling fans listening to that song coming out with Mystical to her own fans. So I can't wait
I'm
to talk
genuinely,
about that.
I'm genuinely curious how much of an impact the Grand Slam Mexico made to pop culture because I don't know if you know this, and this is like a whole different topic from Trouble in Paradise episode 5, but Brody King made it on the news.
Yep, his abolished eyes. That's what I'm saying. Grand Slam had a lot of great things. W man for doing that. He literally does not care. what other people think of his political views, and it kind of makes you see how AEW is very willingly to give wrestlers their own free will. Cause you know damn well that WWE would not have done that at all. They really don't
So
care. They're very selective on what they want on their program. But to see that AEW or TK let Brody King express his feelings towards the situation going on during this like heated political scene in this country, I genuinely respect AEW and Brody King for doing that.
it was very amazing. I think that I genuinely think that Grand Slam Mexico was a love letter that that made U.S. wrestling and lucha have a proper makeup. You
I don't know
know,
about that. I don't know about that because I was seeing you bash on how Mercedes Moné won the title.
I didn't bash anything, brother. I was asking you what you think about that.
I don't know, man. You were kind of like, damn, she won again. Well, cause you were clearly upset about the belt collector gimmick that she's doing. To me, I didn't watch the match, honestly, because while the match was on, I was cooking. I was getting ready to eat. So I was like, let me put this to the side. Not that I hate women's wrestling, guys. No, it's just that I was hungry. I went to the gym that day at 5 a.m., went to work right away after at 8, came home around like 5, made it on time because I was on the phone with you, driving back on the freeway, which took me an hour to get home. And I was just hungry. So I didn't skip that. I skipped the match because I was cooking.
He's lying, guys. He clearly said that he didn't care for the Mercedes Hogan match.
But
You know he's
personally, no. But like personally speaking, I genuinely don't care. Like, I'm not a fan of her, and it is gonna be quite interesting how her Tony match is gonna be if she's gonna win it and declare herself the number one. But we'll see. Um, because a lot of people are kind of considering her to have control over her creative and obviously winning these titles. And one of the criticisms that I saw was that she's pretty much kind of just getting these titles and just doing nothing with them. Or just getting, or these promotions are just giving her the titles to promote their promotion. But I mean, who am I to say anything? I'm not her boyfriend. I wish I was her
no.
boyfriend, just like Beast Mortals.
Yeah,
He's the one
exactly.
that took the W.
WWW. But here's the thing. I agree because again, we don't want to come off as Mercedes Monet haters because she's very good in the ring. She's having one of the best. She's having the best matches of her career. It's just, I mean, maybe it just doesn't click with everybody, and it's just something that is a work in progress, and I'm sure she sees it like that too. So again, we just tune in and we enjoy Mercedes matches, but we always look forward to watching Mercedes uh grow in AEW. But Bell Collector, I mean, what can I
It's
say? I
pretty dope.
mean,
It's really dope for me personally.
yeah, it's dope. And what can we say? I mean, what other women's wrestler is as popular as her? I would
Exactly.
I would say that maybe I would say that maybe it may seem bad, putting all titles on her would be ideal because everybody's knowing who Mercedes Monet is.
Correct. And she's kind of proving her haters or people that loved her in WWE and kind of say, man, fuck, like essentially bash her for not choosing WWE. And it's like, she's kind of proving everybody wrong and pretty much being like, yeah, like I'm really successful where I'm at. I don't need to be stuck in the mid card or in the tag team or not being the number one in the WWE. So props to her. But I kind of want to go talk about Athena, and let me talk. So I've been telling the Take On to make a video on Athena, and I hope he does. So if you guys are hearing this, please make him make this video because she's way long overdue to be in, I guess you could consider the main roster, right? Quote unquote, and actually be pretty much somebody in AEW, Dynamite, Collision, because I feel like she deserves it. I feel like she's been stuck in ROH Vortex with 19 people watching because clearly the Take On doesn't watch ROH anymore. So please enlighten me. Why? Why is she still stuck there?
Uh, I forgot where I read
Because
online.
apparently Dave Meltzer was talking about how she was scratched off from All In due to Mariah May obviously leaving. So they had to pretty much scratch everything up and had Mercedes Moné be pretty much the Owen Hart champion. But I genuinely don't know why she isn't pushed. I feel like she's stuck in that vortex. Nobody's gonna clearly overthrow her. And even though I don't watch ROH, I think I watched that episode when you were telling me that she was going against Billy Starks. And I think I told you, I was like, I genuinely feel like she should have overthrown her master and given Billy Starks the kind of that form to develop in ROH and Athena that push to finally be in, I guess, quote unquote main roster.
To be honest, though, it's just that the Minion story is, what can I say? It's mainly Athena being a bully to all the minions, and I mean, her being a bully just is pushing individuals to be better. But I mean, it taught Billy Starks how to be sneaky because she tried it when she became the TV champion. Now, from the last thing I recall, I know they left off with the ROH Pure Champion, and I have not been
Cause,
involved in that ever since.
so 19 people only watch ROH because
However,
the Take On
however,
stopped. Because be honest, in that roster for women's, who is, I guess you could say, worth to defeat?
Diamante Full. There was a time where they were paired up together, and I'm surprised nothing ever really flourished from there.
Is
But
TK still booking ROH?
yes, bro. But they're just meshed up matches that make them into an episode at this point, bro.
So there's no good storylines. No, I'm actually interested because I always bash on you for you and your 19 other fans that pay ROH, but whoa, what's going
What
on there?
what I'm seeing is that they're trying to like roll it back to the Dark Order and Preston Vance being a faction hopper. That's the
Terrible,
last thing I
terrible
remember.
person. I was never a fan of Preston.
I know you often said that he looks lost.
He does look lost because you were telling me, oh, he was in this group, and then now he's LFI, and then you tell me, oh, but now he's back in ROH, and I'm like,
He's in
what
a
is homie doing?
he's in a faction, bro, and he's the only muscle there.
But hopefully, like I said, and I'll argue with this, Athena should just relinquish the ROH title and be pushed in the main quote unquote main roster, or just be the title holder forever. And I don't know what's gonna happen there because clearly it's kind of worthless in my opinion.
At this point, yeah, because she calls herself the forever women's champion, and at this point, it's kind of like, bruh. At this point, it just looks like a prop. It looks like you know how like The Rock comes in with his own championship, even though he
Oh,
hasn't wrestled yet.
the people's champion.
It's kind of like that now. That's kind of what the championship looks like. To doesn't really defend it like that anymore.
Like I said, hopefully you make that video talking about it. I'm very
Will
hoping
do.
you do. Um, but let's talk about how Hangman did a promo in Spanish. Man, that's what I'm saying, man. Like
What a
to me,
W.
the show was pretty good. But I before we get too advanced, we were watching some TikTok about obviously this could be the small minority, but Mexican fans were pretty upset of the show because Kenny wasn't there. But before I get too ahead of myself, what did you think of Hangman literally doing a promo in Spanish? And the
Man,
fact that CMLL really wants him, Consejo Mundial really wants him to do more shows for them.
I'm really curious what his presentation will be in Consejo Mundial because in AEW he's I don't know if you would you consider Hangman a part timer?
No, but I genuinely do hope he wins the championship because I feel like he is him. He should be the face of the company, not Swerve. Uh,
He's a main character of AEW.
yeah, that's how I feel. His redemption arc and stuff like that. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know how they would use him, to be honest. But pretty dope on him for literally having a promo in Spanish. W him.
He did it without even stuttering.
Exactly.
With the obviously a thick accent, right? Because again, it's not his first native language, but I mean, like he said it, he speaks it better than other gringos, so he's gonna try it, and he did, and it was very good Spanish. And then now CMLL wants him for more future dates. Like that's amazing. That's what's amazing about this partnership that you're seeing like a mutual respect, and it's the fact that you just know Consejo is not the type to. They're not the type to really let themselves get walked over. You know, like they really take the business serious, and they really try to conduct the business as serious and as sports like as possible. So
Hell yeah, no, it's pretty dope, and I'm kind of intrigued, honestly,
and
how
just to
it
see
would
like
work.
Hangman's developing character into like a sports based product like Consejo is like interesting. Like you could have him have matches with Templario or what bad guys. Him going against Hechicero or who else was a bad character. But man, you could just
You could see the fact that they love them and they kind of really want to share that. At
they
that partnership they have, obviously they send people from their work to their promotion to AEW. They get loved, they get respected by the fans, and then obviously Hangman got respected by the crowd. It's pretty good. It's pretty dope, honestly.
so hopefully he gets more dates. Because Hangman really impressed a lot of people, especially when he made it known that especially like in Mexican culture, it's very community oriented, very collective. So when he said that juntos together we work we work better and we change the world, it is true. Again, like you're seeing AEW and the Consejo Mundial partnership. Now you add New Japan to the list, and you just see like a different flavor of wrestling that from different areas around the world, providing you one of the best wrestling they could provide you. Then there's WWE, who has TNA as like, oh look, we can also do partnerships. And
Exactly.
they buy AAA and they're like, oh look, we also appreciate the Mexican culture.
Yeah. It's a WWE circus act. AEW wrestling act. To
So
put it in simpler terms. Drama.
yeah.
A drama show versus a action show. That's the only way to put it.
Man, but like, but as we're talking about Grand Slam, we have been led to a lot of multiple sources of like how that event really
Well, yeah,
happened.
cause I don't know if it was episode 2 or 3, but we talked about how literally AEW Grand Slam was reported that they sold out within 2 days, right? Or within a week.
2 days, I believe.
2 days, yeah. And then obviously reports came in saying, yeah, it didn't sell out.
See, so now
That there
that's
were empty seats and stuff like that. And then like how I want to bring back to the topic, how we were seeing or people being interviewed and they were not happy because to them it was mostly tag matches. They wanted to see Will Ospreay do a one-on-one. Kenny Omega wasn't there. So very, I don't, like I said, I don't know if it's the minority, but you could tell that kind of some fans just weren't happy, and it wasn't WWE fans bashing on it, but it was just fans just not content with it, which is kind of interesting because to us, we like the show.
You know what was most interesting of all in that episode that I uploaded the clip where we mentioned that Grand Slam sold out?
Mhm.
And it coincidentally enough, I posted that clip literally the night after Grand Slam, which honestly, because we're new on TikTok, that clip did pretty good. And oh my lord, I was telling Flemex that the comment section was buzzing. It was buzzing. And it was the same thing. It's the same criticism that there was full seats. No, there wasn't full seats. Oh no, it's always like that in the beginning of the show. And yada yada yada. And you're like,
I don't know. People put too much emphasis on the seats. It's not like we're getting paid for it, man. I keep
it's
saying
Arena
that.
Mexico, bro. Like you like enjoy the most of it. Like when I was there, again, I wasn't thinking about it. I wasn't thinking about how there was empty seats. I was thinking about how like, damn, I am really in Arena Mexico.
Exactly. And I don't know, man. These fans, man, acting like they're getting the money in the pockets or it's affecting them, but it's not. Just enjoy the show, please. It's
Honestly,
I
man,
liked it.
being a wrestling fan, dropping content is fun because then you drop stuff and then uh, you just somehow attract people that just there was something that you said that stood out to them that they felt the need to respond. And you
Pretty
know, it's
dope, pretty dope.
but it's very interesting though. It's very interesting. Fans are funny. Again, we go back to like the fans in Mexico, how they were very disappointed, how we couldn't have a Kenny Omega, we couldn't have a Will Ospreay match,
But
and
it comes to the point. It comes because I think people were upset of that because he was pretty much put in the poster, right?
yes,
So obviously
exactly.
people thought he was gonna run in. Hey man, but even though you didn't get Kenny Omega, you got Daniel Bryanson
After the
at the end of the
finale.
show. Yeah. So, hey man, what's going on here? You had a good show. I don't know, personally for me, but
I mean,
that's
honestly,
just
one thing I expected was that the WWE, I mean the WWE, the CMLL crowd or the Arena Mexico crowd would enjoy these tag matches because tag matches are just popular in Mexico.
I guess they weren't. I guess they weren't.
But who knows? Again, they just wanted those guys individually. And I don't know, it's just funny. Just going back to that comment, it came from the same guy that I was wearing El Grande Americano mask. That shit was hilarious. I wouldn't have expected that they're already selling those masks. Hey, Flamus, would you ever get a El Grande Americano mask?
Fuck no.
It looks better than hologram.
Oh yeah, that mask is terrible. But I have my Mystico. Oh guys, I haven't even paid the take on yet. You guys never reminded me.
Damn, brother.
And I just barely remember talking about the mask.
Even if the grasshopper sings, still can't. It's still not loud enough.
Guys, I promise I'll pay him. I'll pay him. I work, guys. I'm not unemployed.
But
But please remind me, guys.
so yes, overall, wrestling has been picking up. AEW came AEW came through with a very excellent show, meshing not only their pro wrestling but lucha. So it was beautiful. They really made an impact in these really harsh times that the US is going through. Brody
Um,
King, you're a legend. You're amazing for using your platform to support uh, a lot of
speaking of, sorry to
victims.
cut you off. Sorry to cut you off because I know you're talking about times being a little rough with obviously this conflict between the United States, Iran, and Israel. Obviously, Iran posted something about not has Americans subjecting and yada yada. They're like at risk because we'll pretty much attack them. Night of Champions is coming up on June 28th, so a lot of people are kind of advocating for the show to be canceled for the stars and production and crew members. What do you think of that? I know it's a little spontaneous thing we weren't supposed to talk about, but I just remembered it because I just saw it on on X right now.
That's interesting. I did not know that. What would you add on?
Well, a lot of people are advocating to cancel the fight because it's not worth it. Obviously, there's a lot of risk in that region to happen. Safest option would obviously to relocate it, postpone the show, or I don't know. That's just if I was a crew member, but I mean, I don't know. What's your opinion? What's your take?
Sheesh. I mean, I think it's good the attempt that they're doing. Uh, we'll see if
But
it even achieves anything.
but you do know that the WWE doesn't give a shit and they'll chase the
They
money.
they don't, but at the end of the day, they have shown where they do miss, where they do listen to the fans because at the end of the day, the fans are the ones that do add money into those wallets. So we'll see. I mean, we can always go back to the we want Cody. Man, I
But
still remember
yeah,
when they got so mixed in with NBA trends.
that's well, we'll see what happens. Any other news before we wrap it up?
So far, it's been pretty good. I mean, we really all we really had to recap is that AEW left a mark in their show. Um, Hangman impressing the Mexican crowd. Brody King using his platform. Um, Ricochet's response to a serious matter for AEW.
I don't know why it's so funny to me.
It's hilarious, bro. And I'm so glad. It's so funny how he deleted and there's people that actually were quick, to grab it.
Crazy, crazy dude, funny dude.
Anyway, but LA Knight, man, LA Knight is underrated. I generally feel that man should have been champion a long time ago. At this
Not,
point, what?
not the WWE, but at least the world heavyweight champion. He
My
should have
apologies.
been that.
There you go. The world heavyweight champion, not the undisputed champ.
Correct. But oh, we didn't even talk about the. Sorry, let's add it on before we finish this podcast. The Cena pipe bomb.
Can you repeat that?
The Cena pipe bomb.
The Cena pipe bomb, man. What do you feel about it?
I I don't know. I didn't watch it, to be honest. I just saw it. I didn't see it live, but I saw it. And
Did you
to
do?
me,
Were you
to
watching?
me,
Did you watch CM Punk's pipe bomb 14 years ago?
yes, that I do remember, and that obviously everybody's kind of will always be like, yeah, it's the best pipe bomb ever. But for Cena's, I think it was a shift in his character. Like I said, I'm not a fan of his heel work with his, oh, I hate you fans. You guys have always treated me like bad. Now it's getting to a point where he's actually acting like a heel towards his opponent. Cause that's pretty much the way I see it. It was more of like, oh, I hate you guys because you guys treated me like trash, and every single time I tried, you guys still booed for me. So that was in the beginning stage. It was boo boo. It was doo doo. But now with this one, obviously he's kind of enforcing that heel and finally getting it together with pretty much calling CM Punk a sellout, saying that all that talk that you talked
Saying
before,
you're not against TKO.
it's
You're
biting
against
you.
TKO. You're not.
Pretty much it's like all that talk you talked, look at you now. Essentially that's what it is. Like, look at you now. You're crawling behind TKO. You are TKO. You are what they want.
Change your
And it's
values as much as I change my t-shirts. That line was fire.
essentially he's like, yeah, you're a sellout. You talked all this nonsense about you being for the people, being for the wrestlers. You're a sellout. And that was pretty it's kind of dope.
He spoke. in a way, he could have been a babyface there because he said a lot. He said what a lot of people say about CM Punk. The ones that don't like CM Punk, he basically said what those fans say about him. Except he actually reacted on him.
Pretty dope. Pretty dope. Yeah. But that's a little thing that I think of the pipe bomb. Anything else you want to add to before we close the show?
We'd be good so far. I mean, you want to talk about Goldberg and Gunther
No,
or
I don't want to talk about that. That's goofy. We'll talk about it after. We'll see the results of it.
Gunther? Anyway, y'all, that is it for this week. We will drop episode 6 pretty soon. Stay tuned. So follow us on TikTok, IG Reels, on YouTube, where we provide you the most up-to-date content.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Have a blessed one.
Bye.